Well, we had a big week last week. Really a fantastic week, not just because, we were able to purchase an open pacer in Patrick DePrana, but and Stay Close, who looks he's going to fit in a number of different ways. We had a great training day on Wednesday. Had an interesting training day yesterday. It was a good training day, but you get to really see with the track a little firm. You really got to see some of the horses if they had any issues, right? My 1%, I just spoke to somebody, swung to the pace. A couple of horses that had Blacksmith in the day before, Merchant Man didn't look as good, right? That's what happens when you shoe them the day before and then try to go with them on a harder track. That's exactly how they look, and this is exactly why I hate shoeing horses close to races. But a very telling day. Some horses just powered right through it, right? We saw some. I guess it's worth talking about a couple of them. We saw some of the horses that looked very good yesterday that we've been waiting to see for quite a while look really good, right? We'll start from the top. Always Charming, I thought finished up his mile good. I'm watching him trot, and I'm like, does this horse need hobbles? He doesn't. When he's at top gear, he looks great, but we don't always get to go to top gear, right? We want to mitigate any potential braking. He ran on Amy on Wednesday. He was a little hot. I want to talk to Jimmy a little bit more about him because he just seemed like he was a little rickety through the mile. Once he got him in top gear, man, he looked very good. Horse I'm waiting a long time. In fact, I have quietly my own little list of horses that if you don't pull your pants up real soon, you're going to be up for sale. You're going to be gone. And Austral Hanover was on that list. And I thought he was great yesterday. Much better. Keep in mind, that was, I think, one of the fastest sets of the day. We went a mile in 29 or 30 with those horses. And Austral Hanover come from a way back to be second or almost second in a set, but closing hard and understanding his work. Now, a horse that powered right through it. You saw Brace for Landing roll off in the first time. I think that was more the proximity of the turn and him not paying attention. But once James got him rolling, he looked very good. Carter Michael Dio, again, just with flip-flops on. Yesterday would have been a great day to have flip-flops on, so he was very good yesterday. Cash Deals looked good. Again, another horse that was kind of on that list, but looked very good yesterday. Who else do we have? Horses that jumped up. Depend on it, might have made a break, but he looked like a horse until he made a break. Who else jumped up here? Gandalf the Black won a flat mile in 39, so good, 34, so good for him. I was happy with him. Hill Street Blues has been really struggling and looked real good yesterday, so very happy with him also. Anybody else? Magical Tom continues to look fantastic out there. Oh my gosh, told you guys he was looking better. Had a temperature last night, that horse. I told you in the video, told you even after that we trained him, he just seemed lethargic. He didn't seem like he was present. Did his work, did it well as he could. You could tell. I give him a swat after the mile because I just wanted to pick it up a bit. He just felt blah. And that was reinforced last night, a temperature of 102.1 last night around 10 p.m. I'll have Nelly from time to time go back and check on a couple of horses. I wanted to check that horse in particular. What else do we got? Oh my gosh, was good. Real Fear looked great. Ripped his shoe off yesterday. I don't even know where he did it. He never made a break. He was fine warming up. Running out, looked a little left hind to me in the mile. We're going to investigate that this week, but very strong. You could see Victor Cruz was very good yesterday also. Now I'm getting ahead of myself. Give me a second. Silent Assassin looked good. Sipping on my shine, you can see he's not crazy, but he's very stubborn and rude. That's the hill in him. Columbus worked very hard over Christmas into January. I worked him incredibly hard. Now he's finally starting to come around. Now you can see Columbus actually nice to be around and nice to do work with. This guy's getting there, but he's where Columbus was 3-4 weeks ago. So you can see how fast he is. So when we came out of the last train, he just dusted them. He was very good. So sipping on my shine, good, but needs to get better. Sir Strong, this horse continues to impress me quietly. Looked very good yesterday. Smoking Out Irish Girl. First start with the hobbles on. She literally had them applied 10 minutes before we went out to train. She looked very good. Or was it Tailgate Buzz? Looked incredible. Victor Cruz, as I said, looked good. And Whispering Song looked good too. So a number of horses that looked good yesterday. Training, but you can see something was up yesterday. Some of them were a little flat. Enzo Aguero. James said to me, he just seemed okay to me. James has never sat behind him where he looked fantastic. Every time I sit behind him, I know 1,000% for sure he was a full second faster than anybody on the training center last time I went with him. And I really don't know why, but I like him, but he was flat yesterday. As I said, Merchant Man was flat. He was flat. A couple of horses that you thought, leaps and bounds, horses that you thought were, should bounce up yesterday were kind of blah, kind of so-so. Aside from the good training day yesterday, starting off the week, we had an incredible week. Started off, I guess, on Sunday with My Jazz winning the final of the Pop-Up Series. Her last start of her life, $169,000 made. She made $35,000 in 2000. I don't often talk about money made, but it's impressive how much money she compiled in 2.5 months at the races in 2022. The soundest mile maybe she ever went in her life was the last start she raced. So I was looking around right after the race. Is there somewhere we can race her? There really isn't. So unfortunately, My Jazz, unfortunately for us, fortunately for her, she's happy. She's headed out to the breeding shed. She is going to be a mama. So she's going to International Money. I rolled through the mares and who they're going to. I put myself on the spot here. My Jazz going to International Money. Path of Totality and Dewey Ann are both going to Father Patrick. Father Patrick has impressed me this year as a stud with our horses. Both of those horses going to Father Patrick. Creatine will be siring the next foal from Canadian Titan. So that's 4. Stolen Dance is going back to Uncle Peter, which is 5. Capistrano's going back to Lather Up, which is 6. Muscle Chrome is going back to... I'm missing one. Muscle Chrome is going back to... no, I know who it is. Muscle Chrome is going back to Long Tom this year. And Compass Rose DC is going to Enterprise. So those are the official studs. We have our contracts locked in now. Those are the studs that these horses are going to heading into the 2022 breeding season. Well, not heading into. We're in it now. So as soon as My Jazz is ready to be bred, as soon as Compass Rose DC is ready to be bred, they'll be bred. I know they were picking up semen for Path of Totality for Father Patrick yesterday, so that's exciting for me. I can't wait to see how that foal looks. This was a mare that I had a ton of respect for on the track. Had real knee problems really her entire life, but the speed was incredible that she had. She could carry it for a good 3/8 of a mile too. Like for a filly that struggled with soundness to take a mark of 56-1 at Northfield Park, it was pretty incredible. So really impressed with the lineup of broodmares we have now. I know nothing about broodmares. I know I talk about them. I rely heavily on our clients that pedigree match quite a bit, and this is a really analytical side of horse racing is to match them. Sometimes I catch myself, I'll watch a video sometimes and catch myself almost looking like I'm downplaying the importance of that, and I don't mean to. I don't mean to at all. From a trainer, I see what happens after we buy the horses, right? How they have to stay healthy, they have to train down sound, they have to have the right attitude, they have to have the right, training situation. Then they have to stay healthy when they qualify and race, catch fields that they can beat, and then get good drives and be healthy and sound on that night. So many variables go into a good horse. And the start of all that is the breeding, right? You have to lay that foundation. And, all the matches that we made for these mares were through consulting people that do that, clients of ours, right? I know Alan, Steve, play a big role in that. A lot of people that do a lot of the pedigree matching, and I bounce some ideas off some other people. But that's where you land. Ultimately, too, when you look at International Money for My Jazz, it's because International Money has sent us some really, really good-looking horses to our barn. So, again, that plays a role with me wanting to be in the International Money business, so to speak. Jump in, honey. Ollie's really learning a lesson today. I told everybody in another video. He get up early this morning. I did that when I was a kid, too. Got up early this morning. Amy went downstairs at 5:30, and he's playing his video game. She was not happy. Shh, don't talk about it. But I was okay. But that's what happens when you do. So My Jazz, all the mares heading to get bred. Easy, Addie. All the mares heading to get bred. We're done at the barn now. We opted not to jog this week, not on Sunday. We generally don't. What's wrong, baby? Your tablet? Ava might have it. Tablet in?
Ava.
Hey, Ava, you say please.
Please.
Ava, give her the tablet, please.
Can I just try one?
Ava. So, I'm trying to do my list, trying to get through it here, but being interrupted. What's up, Bob? I think it looks fine. Thank you. Good job. What seat? We have 2 brand new seats and 2 bikes right there, right? What seat are you talking about? Oh, you can keep the old one in case we need it for another bike or something. We'll throw it in the garbage then. Okay. All right. Seemed pretty straightforward. You hold this thing. Okay. So, where's that leave us? So, My Jazz. We took 5 minutes to talk about My Jazz. My Jazz won Sunday. I was just so happy. I know that everybody loves My Jazz, but to sit behind a horse that you know has gone through as much as she's done this year and last year, and then see her so good, her final race, what you know is her final race of her career, was impressive. It's the first time I've ever been in that situation, right? We don't have a ton of brood mares. We aren't a brood mare company, so to speak, but I've never actually known that a horse was as good as it's ever been, and know that it will never race again. It's a weird feeling, but you know, I was proud of her. So we started off Monday. We had obviously White Tiger did as good as he could do in the open. Thought he was a little flat, I guess, but you can't, and this is what I try to explain to people, and a lot of people don't understand this, is that horses know, right? When they know they can't beat the horses in front of them, they don't put in the best effort. Why would they? And White Tiger cannot beat the open just yet. One day he will, right? One day he will, but when they're trotting like that in front of them, you have horses that are jumping up and being fresh. You look at that Dream horse. What's that horse, Dream Nation? Yeah. Dream Nation looked like White Tiger 4 weeks ago. He looked like he didn't really belong. He belonged kind of in the open, but he looked like he was going to beat them easily. He looked like he fluked into a win 2 weeks ago, but last week it wasn't a fluke. But that's how good those horses, when they turn on and put forth 105%, that's how they can look.
Need some confidence.
That's exactly what it is. It's confidence. So White Tiger's dropping down. Now, there's no slouches in there. And in fact, a lot of people may discount Kings County. Kings County raced against the best horse in the world at 3. He's trotted in 51. He's got a mark, what, 52? Something like that. Like, Kings County's no joke. And quite frankly, he's as good or maybe even better than Tiger. They're very, very similar in very, very different ways. So
they raced against each other in there, too.
Did they? Oh, yeah, you're right, the Houghton. What happened in that race?
I think King finished 4th and we finished 6th.
Oh, well, there you go.
No, sorry, the race here, the Wellwood.
Mm-hmm.
We run in the Houghton.
No, in the Houghton, I was 7
he
to 8.
was sick.
No, he trotted 53 or 54.
Oh.
Yeah. So Kings County, aside from White Tiger, there's some good horses in there, but it just goes to show you what we've accomplished, right? We ended up buying a horse in Kings County and Dominic and Amy. Dominic have done a great job with that horse. He seems awesome. Michelle, we don't give Michelle enough shout out to. That's Johnny McKinnon's girlfriend, works for us, and she's a fabulous caretaker also. So they do a great job in Dominic's barn with White Tiger and with Kings County. So they'll hook up and square off tomorrow, White Tiger and Kings County, and then Locatelli. I told you he wasn't an open trotter. I still don't think he's an open trotter yet, but he really had to go to the open, right? That 28,000 class, he finished second in it. That horse has made, well, he's made $50,000 since we bought him, and he was a $93,000 purchase US, so that's what, let's say 120, 130, something like that, 120,000. He's made a decent chunk of his money back without becoming the horse we wanted to be. This wasn't the plan, right? Plan was to race him until we weren't going to race him anymore, turn him out, miss the bulk of the 2022 summer. I don't want those 4-year-olds racing in open company in the summer. Have them ready for August. I suspect Locatelli's first start will be the Maple Leaf Trot or somewhere around there. That is open company. But at the same time, now he's going to be filled out a little bit, ready to go a little bit more. Now, Harry only wanted to turn him out for a month. If we could race him into April, that would be great. I just don't know. It's week to week with White Tiger. Joe had messaged me back saying, when are we stopping with White Tiger? I told everybody multiple times, we will stop with Tiger when he tells us to. Now, he's down in company this week. If he's a little flat this week, that's it for Tiger. and he will be stopped with, but the proximity to where we stop with them and where we bring them back is important. Now, Tiger's a 6-year-old. We can have him back in the middle of summer. Is his airway good? Is he going to breathe good? Is he going to like the summer? I don't know. But at the same time, that will be up to White Tiger, right? Won't be up to Anthony, won't be up to Joe or anybody else. So White Tiger will be ready to be stopped with and ready to come back and ready to race when he tells us. And that's the schedule we're on with White Tiger. I needed to be clear about that because there's a lot of people saying that, they weren't clear about what was going on with White Tiger. It's impossible for me to say. 6 starts ago when he trotted 52-4 and looked like he was going to win the Open that night if he gets through, it's pretty hard for me to say, well, coming to the end of the year for Tiger, he has to tell us, and he will. We made some great purchases, it seems like. I know Levitor. Where'd that come from? I was joking I had talked to Mark Beckwith and Jimmy King, about the horse. They didn't really know him, but they knew people that might, and said he was kind of one speed, couldn't really leave. If he made front, he was tough to beat, but couldn't really leave. And, might suit Mohawk good, but certainly would never get around a half, was the scouting report that I got. At least that's how I took it. We changed his gear, and, it's great. I love talking to Mark Beckwith on the phone because he's an old school guy too, right? An old horseman too, and he's picking my brain about what we put on Levitor to make him look the way we did. And I'm talking to him. He's telling me about horses he has. He sent me a picture of a shoeing of a horse that he had that was cross-firing. Really interesting, just horseman stuff. And I had told him. I said, we had made some very minor changes with Levitor. I think Northfield Park itself is a good track in the sense that it's a very rare half. There's no stop signs, there's no yield signs, there's no, you progressively go forward from start to finish in most races at Northfield Park. Horses that come first over, and you guys may notice this. Yeah, you'll live. Do you want to hold my hand? Your hand's so hot, you be silly. But that track, it's so weird. That's why you see a lot of them come first over and keep coming. They carry their speed, which you never do on a half-mile track, but they do at Northfield. So, Levitor I thought was fantastic the other night. It got me thinking, too, about series. We're going to talk about some of them in just a minute. Mama Knows Best looked great in the mud, winning first over. Not very often you see Mama Knows Best come first over and decimate the field wrapped up. Hey, Adeline, shh. Decimate the field wrapped up, and she did the other night. Look good, but again, we're getting to a problematic time with her where 2 more wins and she doesn't fit that class anymore. Where do we go? I don't know. So again, another horse that we're probably going to look to maybe put on the open market at some point in the next 2-3 weeks. Captain Mike Deal, a lot of questions. So here's my take on Captain Mike Deal. Captain Mike Deal was intriguing to me. Scotty didn't really know the horse that well. So when I was going to the Meadowlands sale, if you guys remember back, there was inclement weather. I didn't get there until late. My flight was delayed. I was relying on scouting reports I was looking for from a couple of people. Captain Mike Deal, quite simply, was a $200,000 yearling. They wanted to be a great horse, and he wasn't. He was just a horse. And they had got him to qualify maybe a few days before the sale. He looked rather ordinary. But my take on him was simple. You wanted him to be a $200,000 yearling, right? That's what they bought him to be. I only need him to be a maiden pacer. That could be at Flamborough, that could be at London, or that could be at Mohawk. So the expectations we have as a stable going in, much lower than what the Alanya stable would have. Does he fit what we're looking for? The answer was yes. I told everybody that had asked me point blank, I was going to 22,000 on him. I was stuck the other day. Did I get 14 or 18 for that horse?
Which one?
Captain Mike Deal. It doesn't matter. I think it was 18. Anyway, regardless, I was going to 22 because that's what he was worth as a maiden pacer. It had nothing to do with his breeding, anything about the horse. That's what he was worth to me. So we got him home. We shot him. We schooled him. Now, I wasn't there. We were in Mexico when he schooled, I think. Yes, because I talked to Sylvain and he said, okay, horse, a bit sulky, castrate him. So we did. The next day he was castrated. 2 weeks later, we put him in to go, and I drove him. The way we had him shot is the way I thought he needed to be shot. But again, he's not the type of horse. He trains great in like 2.8. It's where you get to 58, 59, 2 minutes, that speed where you start to see the cracks in the armor. right? And it wasn't soundness. It wasn't lameness. We had him to the vet, 100% sound. They took very good care of this horse when he was young. So, mechanical. I raced him. He was into his knees. He was rough. He was out of gear. I said, here's a horse that's never had corks on in his entire life. Looks to me like he's taking weight, yet it's not from soreness. He's interfering. You can see that plain as day on the video without me telling you exactly where. You can see that something is going on in the video. So we started from scratch. I said, okay, the weather's not bad. Mohawk's track is good. First off, take all the cork off. I want all the cork off of the horse, which is tough because we have to get to our farm track, which is quite icy. We have to get him up the ramp, onto the track. When you get to the track, you can get, you can jog, but beware. We were lucky enough that it was a soft track. A couple of days, we got to train him on a softer track with no cork on. Half round, half swedges behind. For those of you that are horsemen, I say that a lot, but for this reason. Half round, half swedge behind, little borium on the toe, just for a tiny bit of grab. And aluminum shoe on him. Dropped him down to 48 degrees up front because he was into his knees. Now, the reason you want to do that is if he's touching his knees, obviously the knees protrude in and they go like that. You want him aiming for his shins, which you have that much more room, right? You can miss a shin, might not miss a knee. So the reason a lot of people put aluminum shoes on is to drag them down get them down below their knee, so they miss their knee. Trotters, you can add weight to get them over their knee, over the knob of their knee. Pacers, you're not going to do that, so you're trying to get him down below. If he's going to hit anywhere, maybe brush his shins, or if you're lucky, brush nowhere. I trained him. Jason got him ready, and I trained him Tuesday. Trained him in 215, 218. Just seemed left-hind a little bit. The vet had a look at him, diagnosed him, fixed him up, and then we put him in to go. The shoeing changes. We went from a light hobble to a heavier hobble. Did that play a role? Maybe, but these are all incremental things. The littlest things make the biggest differences in horse racing sometimes. These little equipment changes, little shoeing changes, they play a big role. And we saw that, right? We saw that the other night. In fact, his lines, if you go look at him, just go and open up Track It. $200,000 yearling by Captain Treacherous. Third is first start, 28-1 on the end of it, a mile and 58 or 59. Second start, 57-3. Last half, 56-3. Last quarter, 27-4. That's a good line. You put a horse like that on gate, you're going to get 40 or 50,000 for him right now. I know you are. So I asked James point blank after the race, do we sell him? He said, you do what you want. He said, this horse will pace 53, 54, and then almost 2 in the next 3 weeks. Now, I don't think he'll win if they go that, but he'll follow and he'll learn. He could be a nice horse. You put some lines on him, he could be worth a lot of money. This is a decent horse. He said, you do what you want, but I wouldn't sell him. Now, when James says that, it means something. He's learned a lot over the last few years, and getting too high on horses is not wise. And his opinion was very honest, very frank, and I think he's 100% correct. The horse has a lot to offer moving forward. So again, Captain Mike Dio looked fantastic. Levitor looked fantastic. Mama Knows Best looked great. Had her for a long time. And then we get to No Free Lunch. I think everybody was just counting a win check, right? Just counting a win check. But here's the thing. This is why we race the horses, right? James just got picked off with this horse, and I know he was a little frustrated after the race, but horses can only go so fast. This is his 4th start after breaking his foot, rehabbing, coming back, and in his 4th start on a March evening, paced 51-3. It's not really a whole lot to be upset about. But, it's not all a bad thing. He has 5 wins. His victory in the final would have netted us, 23,000, something like that for a win. 20-some thousand. He fits right now the non-winners of 6 series starting in Ohio. In 2 weeks' time, he fits a series, non-winners of 6 or 60,000 life. And then I know there's a trotting series. I assume there's a pacing side of that in Yonkers right after that, which I think is non-winners of 6 or 100. So No Free Lunch gets to springboard into 2 series at 2 different places that are pretty lucrative and pretty interesting series. So he'll be heading to Miami Valley, his next start. Now this is a good lead-in because there's a number of horses that fit that on the trot and pace. Non-winners of 6 on the trot, Colts and Geldings. We have horse we just bought, Stay Close. We'll see how he races his first start. That'll determine whether he's heading to Miami Valley. But I know for sure there's a horse about to qualify Thursday that I don't know if he's going to be tight enough. We'll see. He's got 2.5 weeks, or he's got 2 weeks. His name is Walk on the Moon. He fits the non-winners of 6, also with 5 wins. And then Stay Close Moon. And My Mini Miracle also fits it. Hits on the filly side. My Mini Miracle fits it. She's a tough filly. We'll see how she races on Monday. She's in too, right?
Who is?
My Mini Miracle.
She's in the 6th.
Yeah, she's in on Monday also. She fits an Onwards a 6 on the filly side, which I think she'll fit. You can never tell because it's a mixed bag, right? You never know. And one Colton Gelding trotter that we haven't talked enough about recently, who also fits it, racing today, Sunday, is Eldis Patrick. Whatever happens today, if he makes a break, he'll be on his way back, and I'll qualify him Thursday at Northfield Park. If he doesn't make a break and he wins, he'll be on his way back to race at Miami Valley in this series. So we have 5 horses going to this series, potentially 4 for sure, I would say right now. My Mini Miracle on the trotting fillies and mares side, now one is a 6 and 60. She'll be heading down to that series. If she's not good enough, then we can keep her down there and race her during that same time frame the other horses are there. Race her in the non-winners of 40 or whatever they have there. And if she can't do, she can go back up here. Not a problem at all. Trucks work both ways. But Eldis Patrick fits it for sure. Stay Close fits it for sure, and so does Walk on the Moon. Now, right after that, there's a series in Yonkers, right? The John Brennan series. Walk on the Moon fits that. Eldis Patrick fits that. And our new horse also fits that. Levitor, that's non-winners of 100. You may say to yourself, well, Anthony, I don't know if he's good enough. That was some kind of mile the other night, 55 at Yonkers. Keep in mind, some horses just need a little spark to come to life. And a little equipment change, a little shoeing change, a little barn change, a little atmosphere change. And I'll tell you what, Levitor, make no mistake, this was a $175,000 yearling, and he certainly looked like a good horse the other night. So a lot of horses that can be heading to Miami Valley, a lot of horses that'll be heading to Yonkers shortly after that for those series, and then come back to Ontario probably. So a lot going on over the next little while. This is all while we're getting our sophomores ready to qualify and race, and they are all getting very, very close. This is all when we're training our 2-year-olds down. Now we're getting into April. You're going to see faster miles come from these horses as we go from March to April, the latter part of April, and that leads into one of the biggest things that could be going on for the entire year so far for us, the return of our Mother's Day open house possibly. Is that going to be in-house? Is that going to be wide open to the public? Certainly looks that way right now. I heard in the news that they're thinking of dropping the mask mandates and all the mandates here by the end of March. So if that happens, there is a very, very good chance that come Mother's Day 2022, you are going to be here probably for the Mother's Day open house. So a lot going on, really exciting times, a great week of racing last week. Looks like a great week of racing coming up this week. I can't wait. We'll talk to you all very, very soon. Still got lots of videos and lots to talk about. Back in just a minute.